another great episode of Water Hose Drinkers. It's episode 38. I'm Cole Woodard, and with me, as always, is my favorite co-host.
I'm
It
John
is.
Pebble. So yeah. First things first, Ryan Fitzgerald interview. Following this, so it'll be posted all separately on Twitter, YouTube. It'll be following, and we're working on Apple and Spotify. So hopefully everything goes well on that. So
Yeah,
hopefully the interview also gets posted on there. But don't know because we're recording this right now. We got to get done with it. So if it's not posted on there and just this is, just jump over our Twitter or YouTube. But
sure.
hopefully everything will be on there.
You got to
Sorry,
catch.
if you see me looking up, I'm watching the Texas State Arizona State game right now. So
Yeah, I'm banishing myself to my patio so I don't have to. So I'm not distracted. But yeah, no, great episode with Ryan. Cannot thank him enough for jumping on the podcast and sitting with us. It was a fun 25, 30 minutes. And we
it's a
heard a
good
lot of
interview.
yeah, dude, great interview. I love how you both, y'all knew a couple of the same people, which I thought was really cool, really awesome. And
Yeah.
I just, I love Fitzy to death, man. I'll never forget, meeting him at FSU when he was a freshman and I was like, I don't know, a 3, 4 year sophomore or something.
Red shirt sophomore.
So, dude, yeah, at the age of like 22 or something, dude, it was crazy. But yeah, I think everyone's gonna really enjoy it. Florida State faithful tap in, Georgia Southern faithful. You make sure you tap in and listen to my kicker, Ryan Fitzgerald, dude. So
Well, and even if you're not an FSU fan and you just I guess kind of local to Georgia. I mean, he went to Colquitt County and Moultrie. So I mean, you gotta love a South Georgia boy. So
oh yeah, I've
South
found
Georgia produces that talent, baby.
dude, South Georgia's got a hell of a resume with me and producing some pretty grade A people in my life. I mean, dude, what can I say about God's
Y'all's
country?
y'all's y'all's tight end is also from Colquitt County as well. So
Yes, yes. I'm hopefully seeing him this week. Hopefully I see him on the field this weekend. You
so
never
yeah, Fitzgerald did play for the I don't know about great, but he played for a controversial head coach in Rush Probst. So
I
out of
don't
high
rem-
school.
I think I remember that. I think he did, but we didn't dive into any of that. We just
No,
got
no, no, man. I talked to him a little bit about Probst off air. I wasn't gonna kind of divulge that one in the interview. So
got you. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll just move on. We'll just start with song of the week. And
song of the week is for me is we were talking about it before we started because it was kind of surprising why I just now heard the song last week. Do It Again by Steely Dan.
great song. Great
Banger.
song. Can't believe you haven't heard it until now.
I probably have, but I, it finally made the playlist last week. So
Dude, it is a great bar song. Like I countless times throw it on the jukebox, like hear it over
it's a good like
my
just okay. So in Statesboro, kind of I took you around Burkhalter, all that, showed you my old house. So what we always like to do is when we didn't want to go out to a bar, but we still wanted, have a couple of adult beverages, we would just sit in the garage, man, and just play music, play poker, watch football, or if it's cold out, watch football, have a little fire going.
that was an experience when you took me through your old neighborhood. I'll tell you what, man,
Yeah.
I loved it. And it was like right as I had gotten there and I was like, man, is this it? And you're like, yeah, hold on, let me take a right real quick. And I was like, okay, dude.
Yeah, dude. If anybody knows anything about just Georgia Southern or have been to Statesboro, you know what Burkhalter Plantation is. That place is hell on wheels. But anyway, Do It Again by Steely Dan. Good
Yes.
vibe song, good drinking song with the fellas.
So I love it. Like I said, love it. I'm doing it in honor of the anniversary of this week. Recording this September 12th. Yesterday was September 11th, and I missed the legend himself, Toby Keith, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Anytime you hear that, you're just patriotism just like shoots through, the roof. You get images.
American Girls.
Yes, yeah, the best. You get images of like, I don't know. You think of George Washington crossing the Delaware, Dale Earnhardt winning his first Daytona 500. Like you just get those images in your head, and you're just like, man, a bald eagle just screeching and like just American pride,
George
so
Bush throwing out the first pitch after 9/11 at Yankee Stadium.
not my favorite memory of him. My favorite memory of him is when he is talking about, I don't know if he was talking about Hurricane Katrina or what, and he just go, or no, he's talking about the Taliban, and he
Yeah,
goes, "Watch this drive," and he just
yeah.
pipes one down the middle. That's my favorite memory. But yeah,
Dude,
just
I
every
do have a not a stat. I was about to say a stat, but I do have a little fun thing. So, do you know who that catcher was that caught the first pitch from George Bush after 9/11?
is it Mike Piazza?
No, the Todd Green. He played baseball at George Southern.
The lore of Georgia Southern and just
Yeah.
people is just growing exponentially. Things that I did not know, like
Yeah.
just every so like he went there, he went there, she went there, he went there. It's crazy, and I love it. I love it. I'm all here for it. But yeah, courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Just real
Yeah.
patriotic.
So Todd Green, I don't know if a lot of Georgia Southern fans know that. He was such an iconic moment in MLB and just American history, honestly. But yeah, he was the one that caught that first pitch. So pretty damn cool.
And it'll live on forever. That first
Yeah.
pitch, that'll live
Georgia
on.
Southern baseball legend, dude.
Dude, that was a strike too. He threw that thing, boom, right there. So, but
Well,
yeah, man,
they said Bush was in the indoor bullpen, kind of warming up with the bulletproof vest on too.
dude, I'd warm up if I'm throwing out a first pitch. I'd
Oh,
get.
I'm not going out there cold, man. Hell no. So I guess first things first, man. I'll go right into the New York Jets, dude. Tough game,
Very tough.
tough game. The 49ers are really freaking good. I mean, they're legit. Probably one of the most them and the Chiefs might be some of the most well-rounded teams in the NFL. Just in every phase of football, offense, special teams, and defense.
I
And
think that I think that the 49ers looked better than the Chiefs altogether. I think
yeah,
the
yeah.
49ers are
But
on.
but but we've seen it so many times with the Chiefs, dude. They're gonna have a slow start, and then halfway through the season, they're gonna slowly hit that uptick, which is fine. But Rodgers got to knock off the rust, man. He hasn't played in a year and a half, 2 years. So, it's going to take a minute for him to really, he's got to take those first couple licks to really get back into football.
Mhm.
Garrett Wilson looked good. Nathaniel Hackett is
What are we
awful.
doing? What
Is
are we doing?
he's absolutely terrible. And I think you got a 20-year vet at quarterback, 3 4-time MVP. He's won a Super Bowl MVP. Why doesn't Aaron Rodgers just have the full keys to the castle? I don't understand that. At one point during the third quarter, the only people that touched the ball were Rodgers, obviously, center, obviously, but Brees Hall, Lazard, and Garrett Wilson. Why aren't we getting Conklin the ball? You know, Malachi Corley, I get it. Let's not throw him in there too early. I'm fine with that. But why aren't we mixing the ball around a little bit more? I
Why are you
just
running the football like religiously down that many points? That was confusing to me. I mean, I don't know.
I would like this coming Sunday against the Titans for the Jets to get maybe Braylon Allen in a little bit more in the running game, just to kind of take the load off Brees Hall kind of early in the season. He got 20 something carries the other day, and I think he almost had 30 touches in that game, dude. That's a lot for a running back, which
Especially
he played great, but we can't do that every single week.
you got to have a stable of like quality running backs, and we'll talk about them. My Bucks, I didn't know that they were going to spread the running game out as much as they did.
Loved
I'm
it.
saying that because I think you saw I had that same game parlay where I had Rashad's rushing over,
Mhm.
but he didn't even lead the team in rushing, and they split like he had the majority of the carries, but like Bucky Irving had the more rushing yards.
He
So
looked good, man.
he looked
He
great.
looked explosive,
He was
really
awesome.
explosive.
Granted, it was the Commanders, so I'm gonna pump the brakes on that. It was the
Yeah.
Commanders, but like
But one thing I do like, the kind of last thing I got on the Jets, but this also is on the Bucks as well. Touchdown Texas State, about to be 7-7.
you did.
Um, so one thing I like about the Jets and the Bucks is the offensive line play for both teams really freaking good, dude. And one of my favorite guys that the Bucks do have is that kid from North Dakota State,
Oh,
Mock,
yeah,
long ginger hair. He's missing the front two teeth.
I know his name. First name is Cody, and it
Yeah,
starts with like a
Cody Mock or something like that.
Mouch, something, dude. They
Yeah,
have built a insane O line at like they have built an insane O line, and I don't. And back to the Jets, I don't think. Yeah, I guess it's knocking the rust off. I was more upset with the play calling as a Jets.
that's the biggest thing, dude.
Yeah,
Defense does need to improve, but dude, the Niners offensive line is legit, dude. Trent Williams is an unbelievable football player.
do you remember when we had that conversation about who would you rather have in a like in a street? Like, who would you rather go
Yeah,
against in a street? Who would win a street fight? It was Conor McGregor
yeah.
or Trent Williams. And I was
Um,
staunchly on McGregor, and you were staunchly on Trent Williams.
yeah.
Little callback to an earlier episode, but yeah, dude, he's a man. He is a grown man, and he was. They went and checked him out, but they said it was for like an IV or something. So again, I think the entire league is knocking rust off altogether. Um,
Well,
and
Garrett Wilson, we checked out Garrett Wilson a little bit too, and they just said he was catching his breath.
mhm, yeah,
So I don't that some of the Jets Twitter are just like, oh, he's out of shape. He's out of shape. And it's like, nah, man, I don't think he's out of shape. It's just those practice reps, even against other teams and your own defense. Just nothing compares to that exhaustion of an NFL game.
you know who looked like they need to knock the rust off? Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah. Well, there wasn't much training camp in there for him, but that's kind of enough on
Well,
that
it's
game.
not.
I could go on and on about that game, but for your Bucks, dude, I'm a massive Todd Bowles fan. I liked him when he was in with the Jets. I like Todd Bowles.
I can't stand him.
I like Todd Bowles, but Baker Mayfield.
Dog.
We were talking about it before this episode. I'm such a Baker Mayfield fan, dude. Just like his story of just like being a walk on, and I know we're probably going to talk about it at the end of the episode a little bit more when we get to the Mount Rushmore, but I love Baker. So
Yeah, I mean the Bucks offense was firing on all cylinders. Granted, I'm not real too pleased on giving up 21, but again, it's like knocking the rust off as it is. Mike Evans, he's going for it.
so
He's
good.
going for the record break of 20 or no, oh God, I can't remember. I think he's tied Jerry Rice's record for consecutive 1,000-yard seasons.
He's
And I
got
think
10 in a row, I'm pretty sure.
yes, and the record would be 11, I believe. So I think he's going for
Yeah.
that. He looks great.
And I think he's going to get it, dude. As long as he stays healthy and Baker stays healthy, dude, he's going to easily get it. But I
I'm
mean, even if you look at early on in his career, dude, Mike Evans really didn't have a franchise quarterback until he got Tom Brady. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot
I
of
tend to
great.
I disagree.
I mean, Jameis was good, but like
Jameis didn't have the offensive line.
the
I could do
turnovers, the
so
turnovers.
I could do a whole thing on how like, and I'm very happy Tom Brady decided to bring his talent and his Super Bowl winning ways to Tampa so that I could witness a Super Bowl in Tampa and burn down South Howard Street like I did. I went crazy. I had a good time. What they did for Tom, they could have done for Jameis and made it better for him, but they didn't. In sense of like the O line, the bringing in Gronk, because Cameron Brate became Cameron Brate. It started with James Winston, but I don't want to get too deep into that because I could spend a lot of time talking about that,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. But I will say the Bucks look good. I want to see more. We have the Lions this weekend, so again, another team comeback win. I think we're at Detroit, so it's a little but I
Jets
would like
Jets are at Nissan Stadium.
great stadium. I've been outside the stadium. It looks like they're redoing. They're like building a new Titan Stadium. I don't know what side of the river it's going to be on, but I think they're putting it on the Broadway side of the river. I don't know where, but I think they're moving it. But that I could be wrong. But they're redoing that whole stadium. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the Bucks versus Lions. I'm very interested to see the Bucks defense versus the Lions offense.
Yeah.
Because I really, really love our pass rush. I love Levante David, Hall of Famer. our back end
First ballot Hall of Famer.
for sure. I was very pleased with the DBs and how they played. I would like to see more from them because again,
But you,
uh,
you you really didn't get tested much versus the Commanders either.
no, and I think that, and again, I stand by this. I think Jaden Daniels is not going to be that guy for the Commanders. I watched him live, and everyone's like, oh, blah blah blah. He was stat padding at the end of that year for Brian Kelly. Like there was no reason he should have been in the fourth quarter. And I think that he takes too many hits and he plays hard. And I fear for his career, but I feel like they're just
It's
doing.
I feel like Lamar, we are saying the same thing about Lamar taking too many hits, right? But Lamar found a way to avoid that mostly, but he still is taking those big hits, which it scares me because
I
I
don't think
think Jaden Daniels, if he does not protect himself, he could find himself in another Anthony Richardson situation like last year.
I think Jane Daniels is by he'll probably be in a wheelchair by year 3 with how the protection of the Commanders are on him and the amount of hits that he takes. He also doesn't slide. Like he slides weird. It's like, dude, you need to slide. He doesn't like baseball sliding, which I mean, I guess, but dude, you gotta, I could go
I
on and on.
don't think that Dan Quinn's a head coach in the NFL. I think he's an outstanding defensive coordinator.
Mhm.
I'm not sold on his head coaching ability because we're like, oh, Falcons, Falcons. It's like, okay, Shanahan was calling those plays, right? But look at the roster that the Falcons had, especially offensively, dude. I
Mhm.
mean, Falcons were dominant then. But speaking of the Falcons, absolute dog shit. I think that Kirk Cousins is still hurt. He he's kind of changing. I would kind of get up and show you right now, but I don't have any. I've got my boxers on, but
I think
anyway,
you know what you mean by. Are you talking about his foot placement, like not
it,
planning his Achilles torn?
yes, yes. So in the past, most quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, he would do left foot forward when he's getting the snap, right? Kirk would do right foot forward and kind of press off of his right foot to kind of get that turn open up. But now Kirk is more in the saddle like Peyton Manning was. He's kind of standing square. And I just think he's a little bit slower and he's not pressing off that back foot like we've seen in the past. Yeah, I know he's hurt, but like I think we should have sat him a couple games. I really do think the Falcons should have sat him. I just
No, I say let it keep doing what you're doing. As a
yeah, as a Bucks fan, you'd love that. So
dude, you get fit. You're not. You didn't. Did they score? The Steelers did not score a touchdown. That's what I meant to say. I was sitting there thinking like my brain was not working. You lost because you didn't score, like because you couldn't
couldn't
stop.
score, couldn't put up 6 points.
Yeah, you couldn't. You got field goal kicked to death by the Steelers, who are current. Justin Fields was the quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's more on the.
TJ Watt's still unbelievable though.
That's fine. Kirk Cousins need. I don't know. What's funny about the NFC South when you talk about the Falcons, they opened the season. I believe they were. I think they were the favorites, and I don't know if they were minus or plus money. I want to say they were minus or whatever, but the odds have been readjusted after 1 week for the NFC South, and this is what I find interesting. The Falcons are still the favorite at plus 145. At number 2, which was the Bucks at plus 300, you find the New Orleans Saints plus 190, and then my Bucks are at plus 240. And then, believe it or not, you can still get the Panthers at plus 2,500. Now, I don't know what the odds makers are thinking because if we all saw my brother's football team who got blown out in Tampa last week, 41-7, would put up a better fight than the Carolina Panthers. I'd love to watch those two teams go at it because boy, oh boy, would it be a train wreck. But yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand what they see from the Saints because Derek Carr sucks. I don't care what anyone says. Derek Carr sucks, and
Yeah.
I don't think the Saints are the Saints. Yeah, the Saints went 9. What they went like 9-8. Like they're gonna have the same year.
Yeah, and dude, they beat the shit out of the Panthers, arguably the worst team in football.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
And but yeah, so if you want some, you go get the Bucks. They're still plus 240, third highest odds. I mean, I have them.
yeah.
Um,
But there's still not much, to talk about in the NFL either. So I know I know you want to kind of look ahead to FSU. I do have one brief thing. Georgia Georgia still looks good. Haven't gotten tested yet. Clemson mollywopped App State, and I loved every single second of it. But we have not seen this real Clemson team yet. Clemson coming off a tough loss against Georgia, coming back first home game against App State, dude. I just think they were just more of ready just to come out for blood, trying to prove themselves a little bit. But Clemson still has not shown me much at all.
We're not
And
like that.
and, and I know my G5 fans out there like I'm with you. The G5 and the G5 is a lot closer to the P4 than a lot of people think. I will agree with that. But it's always a damn good feeling when App State just gets destroyed no matter who they're playing.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna add some. I'm just gonna run through the top 25 real quick because I hadn't looked at it because I've been living under a rock. Um, the sorry, damn, yeah. Georgia 1, Texas at 2. Which why is Texas? I don't know how good Michigan is. I don't think they're that good, but Texas went in there and dominated in a hostile environment. And the fun fact, I have Texas winning the SEC before. Like I have Texas winning the SEC. I've made that switch. I put in a bet on them at plus 350. Um, Ohio State at 3, Alabama at 4. Don't be shocked this weekend if Alabama goes into Camp Randall and loses because the Bullies kept it close. The score was not an indication of the how close to that game was, and that's another thing you want to talk about, like with the G5 and the P4, how close they are. USF was in that ball game until the fourth quarter,
Mhm.
so
Well,
I'm
the final score of that football game really does not show how close that game actually was.
yeah, bingo. And then round out top 5 is Ole Miss. Other teams I'm seeing out. Tennessee looks damn good at 7. Oregon, man, Oregon does not look good whatsoever,
Mm-mm.
and
Mm.
they have to go to Corvallis this weekend against Oregon State. So there's that.
Also, I think Boise State's a damn good football team, dude. I mean, obviously Ashton Genty, I think he had over 100 yards and 2 scores in that game, I believe. And I mean, dude, Genty's, in my opinion, and it shouldn't even be a question. Genty is the Heisman front runner right now.
Not according to the odds makers. You have Cam Ward who beat up on a crappy UF team and then beat up on FAMU.
See, I don't get that. Of course, the quarterbacks are going to get the edge, but if you just look at the stats, dude, Genty has got 8 touchdowns and 400 to 500 yards in 2 games.
I don't understand why we aren't giving the if he was at any Power 4 school, he would be getting the love.
Easy,
Such a
easy.
it is such a dominant quarterback dominated award now that it kind of loses its lust. It loses its like luster that it had growing
Yeah.
up, where you're like the best player. Like shoot, there was a and Dominican Sue should have won a Heisman. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how crazy the awards used to be. But now we're sitting there like, okay, Cam Ward, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milrow, Jackson Dark. Like you're just looking at the quarterbacks of like the top 25, and it's
For,
like
for me right now, I would put Genty 1, Quinn Ewers 2, Cam Ward 3.
that's it's fine.
That's what I
Can't
would do.
waste your money on Cam Ward. I can tell you that much. Another thing, Notre Dame. Thank you. I want to thank Notre Dame for taking the heat off of my Knowles. I don't know how you lose to NIU. That's crazy. Also, how NIU is ranked, wild, and Notre Dame still being 18th after
Wild.
wild
Wild.
insanity. And also, is there anyone else really that I'm looking in the top 25? Nebraska, welcome to the top 25. It's been a while.
Oh, dude, loved every minute of that game. That was truly like, and at night, I had 3 games going at once. I was watching Southern. I was watching the Clemson App State game just because I was with some Clemson fans, and we were watching the Nebraska Colorado game. When Nebraska won and App State just got mollywopped, and Southern won, that was just a true icing on the cake for me for a great college football Saturday. It really was.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same. I had a great weekend because My Knowles are on a bye week, but we still somehow lost. We
Yeah.
lost. We lost Jalen Lucas, transitioning into the Knowles, I guess you could say. We lost the bye week. Don't know how. Lost the bye week. Now I don't get super crazy about high school recruiting. I don't let the decisions of a 17 to 18-year old affect the way I am about my team. Yes, high school recruiting is important, but I think early commitments suck. I want the kids to enjoy. I think if you're in that decision making process, yes, the teams are looking to fill their spots and positions. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy getting recruited. It only happens once in your life, so that's why I don't let it really affect me much. But I don't want to say like don't burn bridges. We lost two major defensive commits this weekend. Granted, we don't look good. We lost one to Texas, and then the other one, like what are you gonna do? So
Well, it's like also, you know, let's say Florida State loses a 4-star. Let's say that. But there also could be a 3-star somewhere that could be better, but and people just want to pay attention about these stars, all that crap. I don't
I
care.
mean, the rankings, I genuinely do think that they do the rankings based on where a kid is committed, and
Mhm.
NIL needs to get some type of structure to it. There
Well,
has to,
Southern's had a couple guys like Nasir Smith, dude. He was a 4-star all throughout his recruiting, committed to Georgia Southern. Bam, 3-star.
yeah, like
I,
Landon
I I
Thomas
don't
was
get
the
that.
Landon Thomas was the number one tight end, and he decommits from Georgia, commits to Florida State, and he's no longer the number one tight end. I don't really know what changed in the offseason. Like
Yeah.
just because he didn't go to the camps, I don't really
I,
know, but
I, I hate all the 247 rankings. I think they're bull
I
crap.
don't like rivals. I actually 247 is the one that I
They're
use.
they're better than rivals for
I
sure.
don't use on three. I could care less. That guy who runs it's a Gator. I don't really care for him. Again, high school recruiting is very important, but again, I don't and I encourage that fans do this too. Stop tweeting at high schooler kids. Stop that. Don't DM high school kids. Let them enjoy this moment, and don't let a decision making of a 17-year-old affect you. Or any of that. To be honest with you, so that's my piece. I
There is gonna be a diamond in the rough somewhere for
oh
every team.
when you start the season 0-2, you're the bottom of the conference play. You're going to have some decommitments, and transitioning into this weekend, Florida State opened up as a 5.5 point favorite over Memphis. Now the line has moved to -7. You have to win this weekend. It is so important to win this weekend. DJU is listed as a starter, and we're getting Hakeem Williams back. The leash is very short on DJU. The leash is very, 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 very short. I don't know if we'll see Brock or what, but all I can do is put my trust into Mike Norvell because he's the one that's getting paid to do this. But yeah, we had a great conversation with Ryan, like we mentioned at the start of the episode. I know that he's dialed in. The defense has to be a lot better. So
Mm.
we'll see this weekend. I'm not betting on Florida. Like I'm not betting it. I do think that they do win, and I do think that they do cover. Memphis is a great, great team. Is a great team. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We will see, and just hope.
Cooper's always been a Cooper Roberts and Chicken Coop's always been a guy that he's a big Bama guy. Grew up a Bama fan, and he does not like hypothetical, of course, wagering Alabama. He doesn't even wear Bama gear on game day. He gets decked out in his Southern stuff every Saturday. He said every time he's worn Bama gear, they've lost. So especially like in college, like me and Coop met in college, right? Especially in like the big games, like most everybody there, like everybody was Southern fans because we all went to Southern. But you got your people rooting for Georgia, Bama, whatever, whatever. But he's pretty much surrounded by a lot of Georgia fans. He'd never wear Bama gear.
I wore the same. Like I obviously washed it. I wore the same underwear for 2 years. The same pair of thieves underwear that had like tribal kind of marks on it. Most uncomfortable underwear that I owned,
Good
and I
luck, boxers.
I went 10-2 in those boxers, and then I went undefeated in those boxers, and now and they're briefs. Like they're not even boxers, they're briefs. Now I lost week one, so I tried something different. I tried a whole new outfit change. I retired the overalls. I retired the work done jersey, but I do outfit changes, dog. My family and I, my dad does an out. We will do outfit changes. Like we're crazy. Florida State outfit changes. My dad will do a Florida State outfit change. My stepfather will do a Florida State outfit change. I will. My brother, my uncle, my best friend Noah, he'll do an outfit change. Like we will
Me
switch
and my
stuff.
dad, me and my dad do the exact same thing.
And I'm not proud of this, but the Boston College game, I feel like I can talk about it now. I ended up in the pool of where I was at, and this was a direct quote by me. Maybe if I start swimming laps in this pool, if I start working hard, the team will work harder. Well, we scored a touchdown on that drive. So guess who started backstroking and butterflying? And I did a full IM. I woke up this morning with an L and my shoulders sore. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. Noon kick for the Knowles. Um, all I got,
Bills up 7-0 early, touchdown pass to James Cook.
dang, I need a Keon Coleman touchdown. I need it for my soul.
Sorry.
Um, I told you plus 150 down here. They got us. But yeah. So enough on the Knowles. Please listen to the Ryan interview because we love Ryan.
Yeah.
He it's a good time. So fun. It's a lot of funny stuff he said too. So I'm really looking forward to you know that. But you want to jump into winners and losers of the week?
I was going to give a little Southern talk, and we
Oh,
can.
sorry, my bad. Blew past it. My bad. Go
No,
ahead. Go
you're
ahead.
good.
Sorry.
Yeah, dude, coming off 2017 win, finally in the win column this year. Big win against Nevada. Nevada's go ahead.
I saw that tweet. That was uncalled for. It was rude. It was uncalled for.
What?
Finally in the win column. I was
Oh
that
yeah,
was
yeah. Dude, so on our Twitter, I tweeted something like finally in the win column, and then you wouldn't know, and I tagged Cole in it off of the water hose
I
account.
want to thank the Gata Talk guys for coming to my defense on that. That was pretty funny. And oh man, I had Southern money line last week. There was no doubt in my mind they were going to go
Yeah.
out west and kick Nevada's ass, which is what they did. So
Yeah, so defense stepped up in a big way. I mean, especially in the second half, dude. Big time. Marr getting a strip sack, biggest play of the game. Finally getting his strip sack, or not a strip sack, but he got his forced fumble. Strip sack is still coming, but Marr gets the turnover, dude. Chance Gamble played an unbelievable game, dude. He did miss a pick six, which I know he's beating himself up about. Texas State just scored again, about to be up 14-7 against Arizona State. We'll tell you the reason why in a minute, why we're watching this Texas State game. But dude, JC, man, still no turnovers through 2 games. Absolutely amazing, dude. And this is the first. Coach Helton's been head coach at Southern for 3 years. First quarterback in the first 2 games to not turn the football over for Coach Helton at Georgia Southern.
he made a great decision going because I remember we were talking about who's going to start at quarterback, who's going to start quarterback. There is a reason that he went with the Frenchman himself. He's not French, but the Frenchman himself, and he
Yeah.
looked. I was there at that Boise State game. He looked great, and it just transitions. You don't turn it over the first game; it's going to transition to the next game. That's what he did, and away from home too.
Yeah.
You got to feel good coming back, and you get South Carolina State this weekend.
Yes. Yes.
So
So the running games, we got to improve on the running game, man. I don't know what's going on there. I think we're pretty predictable, and I think a lot of it is a little RPOs almost, which I do like the RPOs. I'm fine with it, but we're running a lot of dives, draws, inside zones. I'd like us to maybe go in the pistol a little bit more. Maybe if you want to run a dive out of the pistol, I'm fine with that. Let's run a little bit of a stretch. Maybe even if you want to keep it in the shotgun, maybe a little halfback toss. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's just try to switch it up a little bit more. And I just think we're too predictable in the running game right now. I think the offensive line can block for it. But speaking of the offensive line, Bryson Broadway, what an absolute dog, dude. He's playing tackle for us. He was a transfer from Georgia State, believe it or not. So, he's coming over from the dark side to the good guys. And, dude, Nevada was getting a little chippy, right? And Nevada gets this. Nevada, they're getting chippy. The guys just kind of hitting Bryson after the play a little bit, talking shit. So what does Bryson do? He shut his mouth and threw the guy's face mask right to the freaking dirt. And
Mid
dude,
play,
huh?
mid play, or after the play.
Oh, it was mid play. It was mid
There you
like
go.
he's blocking him, chips his arms down, and then throws him right face mask right in the dirt, dude.
I'm trying to find the current odds to win the Sun Belt. It's what
I
I'm
love
looking.
that. Love that. Look that up and I'll keep going.
I'm trying my best. It's
Bryson did get kind of a bullshit unsportsmanlike. He did break a guy's arm and then kind of like he was running away and kind of like smacked him on the ass to just be like, hey, like, I'm pretty sure it kind of looked like, hey, man, like, I'm sorry, like, you're good, man. Like, not trying to be an
yeah.
asshole when they throw a flag on it, but it did kind of turn into that was right at the end of the first half. It did kind of turn into Nevada getting a lot of penalties kind of after that, which ended up paying off. We get a big touchdown to close out the first half, which put us ahead. And man, big game for the defense. Coach Bailey loved the adjustments on the defense. We started out with the four-man front, ended up subbing another linebacker in to try to contain the quarterback run. So we ended up switching to a three-man front. So, dude, I thought the adjustments were great by Coach Bailey and the defense. So, dude, hats off to Coach Bailey. Hats off to the defensive guys, man. And it was legit three-phase football game. Special teams looked great, man. Our kicker had a 50-yard field goal too, career long. So, 58 yarder, man, that's no easy task in football, dude. Doesn't matter the level. 50-yard field goal is a 50-yard field goal, man.
Who was the preseason?
The coverage preseason favorite probably was App State or Texas State, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Okay. I just got the odds pulled up.
Okay.
You want to hear them? So this was 3 days ago, reported by Fox Sports. Texas State is the favorite at plus 250. App State at plus 400. JMU at plus 550. Coastal plus 1200. You guys are behind South Alabama, Arkansas State plus 1800. So the odds are jumping down.
We're still behind South Al and Arkansas State.
You are, let me see.
No disrespect to them, but
Dude,
these
odds to win the conference.
I'm going to keep my mouth shut, but obviously those people do not watch football. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
I think going back to the game last Saturday, man, I think it was just a complete game by the Eagles. We probably should have punched the ball in a couple more times, but that's fine, man. A win's a win. We're not going to remember how the game went, but we will remember a victory. I thought the coverage was absolutely outstanding on the special teams, dude. Just on the kick return, punt return, man. I thought we punted the ball well when we did. We were hitting them. Alex Smith was hitting bombs punting, dude. And the coverage was just, he had great hang time. The coverage is unbelievable, dude. It was a complete three-phase game by the Eagles, dude. And looking ahead, South Carolina State FCS team, they're starting running back for South Carolina State. DeAndre Duhart is a great running back. I played high school football with him.
Oh,
So actually is a former teammate of mine.
oh
So
wow. We need to stop him. We need to stop the run.
dude, he's just a physical power back. He's quicker than you think. And dude, ever since high school, man, I followed him when he left Stratford and he went to Warner Robins, went to North Side here in Houston County, and he went to I think like a JUCO prep school and then went to South Carolina State, man. And South Carolina State, I think we were talking about before, it's a 27-point spread, dude. Probably will end up hypothetically taking it just because it's Georgia Southern. But man, they're nothing to sleep on.
No,
And
you
and
can't. You gotta take
we
every team seriously. You
yeah,
have to look at.
6 p.m. game, 6 p.m. game. We're going to be under the lights. Ideal situation for me is, of course, jump up big time in the first half. Of course, that's what you want to do. And, if we're up big, I'd like to see Dexter Williams. I'd like to see David Dallas. I'm curious to see how these guys look, especially Dallas. And, I'd like to see us get a couple young bucks in there too. But that also starts with us coming out first drive and smacking them in the mouth.
Yeah,
So
you gotta get up. You gotta get get
Mhm.
up on quite a bit to see that youth movement. I probably won't touch the game. I got a couple other big games this
Yeah.
weekend that I'm going to be kind of focused on, and even though I mean, for me it's legal, but yeah, I'm gonna check the, I'm gonna double check that. Just
Yeah.
might be a game time, might be a late ad for me, but you know,
Maybe even if you're a gambling man, try to see if you can find a first quarter or first half bet. I feel like
yeah,
that's a safer play rather than 27 points on the full game.
I would love to see the starters not play at all in the fourth quarter. That's where you want
Yeah.
to be.
Mhm.
You know, maybe halfway through the third, even you just don't have any of the starters in because you want to get those reps. You want to get the in-game experience for them. But do you guys start? I haven't looked at y'all schedule. Do y'all start conference play next week?
We've got Ole Miss next week and then Georgia State.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. I mean, who listen? NIU beat Notre Dame. Okay, and I'm
Mhm.
just putting a little. Who's sitting in that 5 spot right now? Ole Miss.
Well, I think one thing too is what potentially whatever that number is for Ole Miss, it's going to be 20 something points, obviously, maybe even 30. I feel like we've got a great chance of covering the spread because Clay Helton is a former staff member of Lane Kiffin at USC. I don't think that Lane, out of respect, is going to run up the score against Clay Helton.
I don't think Lane Kiffin really. The only school I can see Lane Kiffin running up the score on is Nick Saban coached Alabama would be
Mm.
one. Tennessee, but they won't be able to run the score up on them. And
And if
then
they could run up the score against like Georgia or something like that, he definitely would.
yeah,
But
but
I think they also start conference play the week after um, Georgia Southern Ole Miss game. So maybe he wants to get up by 20 and then Jackson Dart, you're out the game.
yeah, they
That's
are
that's what I'm
playing
kind of hoping for.
Kentucky after. They have Wake Forest this weekend, and they play Kentucky after you guys. But looking down the stretch of like games y'all have left, I mean, you have the bye weekend.
We
The
got after Georgia State is the
Yeah,
bye.
that's
I'm
a
pretty sure.
perfect time. And then you run through. Man, I'm just looking ahead. There's no reason that you from what I have seen,
Mhm.
there's no reason you can't sweep conference play, my man. There's just no reason at all.
Yeah, there's no reason, but also, the Sun Belt East, man, is freaking brutal. But what I do like is JMU being kind of closer towards the end of the season, and the last two at, at home. Look, if you're looking at the schedule right now, look at
Yeah.
all the big games. All the big games are in Statesboro for the conference.
Except I will say you have to go to Conway and play CCU.
Yes, yes, we got to go to Conway, but on the road against South Al. Troy's at home, but the last two games of the year are Coastal and App State. And I think it's going to come down between Georgia Southern, Coastal, and App State in those last two games of the year. And that's going to depend on us on how we perform.
If y'all, I mean,
Dolphins just scored again. 5-yard touchdown pass by Tua to Achan.
listen, man, I ain't got no money on. I just got team total and a couple of player props in.
Let's jump right into the old gambling corner. So this week, Cooper Chicken Coop has got South Carolina +7 versus LSU. He's got Tulane +13 versus Oklahoma, and Ole Miss -22.5 versus Wake Forest. So our good friend Pepe, he's got a weekly 4-pack straight off the zero turn Toro, fresh off the lawnmower in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's got Florida +3.5 versus Texas A&M. He's got Auburn -28 versus New Mexico. Wazoo +4.5 versus Washington. And Toledo +10.5 versus Mississippi State, which I absolutely love. So we'll let you. Alex bets are still pending. So look on the Twitter for Big Al's wagers. So for
Mhm.
me this week, I've got two things actively going right now. So sorry, don't care though.
Sorry. You
I've
might have a
got
late might have a late ad. Might have a late ad.
exactly, might have a late ad. I've got Texas State -2.5, which is going on right now versus Arizona State. They are currently up 14-7 against Arizona State as we're recording this. and I've got Dalton Kincaid anytime touchdown plus 210. The Bills are currently 7-7 against the Dolphins as we're recording this. And on Saturday, I've got Vanderbilt minus 10.5 on the road against Georgia State.
Smells. That smells. That smells that they have to go from beautiful, wonderful Nash Vegas all the way to that. Georgia State.
Shithole of a stadium. They've ruined Turner Field. I mean, that fan base, Vanderbilt doesn't have any football fans. Georgia State doesn't have any football fans.
We're
There
gonna
might
talk about
there might
Vanderbilt
be 1,000 people at this football game on Saturday.
and about 800 of them are probably going to be Vanderbilt.
Exactly.
I think Vanderbilt's undefeated right now.
They are.
That's funny as hell. That is so funny. They have beaten Virginia Tech and Alcorn State. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, God, feels like I'm in the twilight zone with Vandy being undefeated.
What you got? What you got this week?
So I was just looking. Obviously, you know me. I'm gonna just overload myself because it's not hypothetical for me, and I just bet willy nilly. I have South Carolina +7. I love. If people don't know, my allegiance in the SEC is to the Gamecocks. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble. Been to games there before. Love William Bryce at noon. I don't know. There's a scenario where LSU
Game
starts
day is going to be there too.
I love it. I love everything about everyone was doubting them, and I love how they went into Kentucky and beat the shit out of Kentucky. So I'm going to take the momentum. Beamer ball, baby. The swag's back, and we're going to go +7, -115. I got Coastal Carolina -18. I forget who they're playing, but I just know that they have looked good. So let me double check that. And it's -110. I think they're playing Temple. I think they're playing Temple.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're good. I wrote all mine down, but
Coastal Carolina is on the road at Temple. Coastal -18.
yeah, -110. I got that in. I'm taking Tulane as well. So me and the chicken
Okay.
coop are on the same side of that. But I'm buying he got it -13 or +13.
Uh-huh.
See, I buy a point and I go 2 touchdowns underdog. And then
Texas State scored again, about to be up 21-7.
I
5
also
minutes left to go in the first half.
I also have Texas State -3, -105, which is currently going on. Sorry. The group of five guys gave me the inspiration to pull the trigger on that. I have USF team total over 34.5 at -115. They are playing. I don't really care who they're playing. They're going to score points. I think they're playing some FCS team. And then love it, love it, love it, love it. Let's get the train rolling. It's a revenge game. Jay Norvell and the Colorado State are Aggies, I believe. The Rams, Aggies, whatever they are. I believe they're the Aggies. +7. I'm going to take them +7 because I believe they're at home. And I have with that said, the sprinkle the money lines on both South Carolina, Tulane, and CSU. You never know. I could see all three of those hitting. That it's +200 money line. Tulane is +425 money line, and Colorado State is +200 money line. I don't know what that pays out altogether if you parlayed them, but that's a juicy, juicy little. I'm not sure if I'm playing that. I'm just giving it out as like a sprinkle, potential sprinkle, and I will make it known if I do, in fact, fire on a parlay like that of some sort.
Gotcha.
Man, I have so many bets, dude.
I try to like keep it around 3 just for like, I don't know.
I just see stuff and I love it. And I'm
But
at like
what I did forget to kind of wrap up our little gambling corner. Last week you went 6-4.
Yeah, 6-4.
You're 7-8 on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Last week I went 3-1. Back to I went 3-1, and I'm 5-2 on the season. I only lost a teaser last week because the Southern over didn't hit. Alec went 1-2 last week. He's 2-4 on the season. Chicken Coop went 1-3. He's 3-5 on the season. Pepe went 1-3. He's 3-4 on the season.
I feel like I'm channeling my inner big cat, and I'm just like throwing caution to the wind and just going because I see something I love and bang, bang, bang.
You know why? Why not? Like Big Cat said, dude. He always says it. Why not bet the freaking board?
I don't have the funds to bet the freaking board. You have to risk it in order to bet it. So
Yeah.
I,
Unless you want to put like a lot of $1 wagers out there to win like
we're not doing that. I'm putting 1 unit on everything that I play. Not going to tell you what a unit size is. I'm not going to give that away. But I feel
$500.
I wish. I feel confident, by the way, that we keep the momentum rolling and we keep going positive. We keep trending up. And I love South Carolina this weekend. I
I do
have
too. I do too. They kind of shocked me last week against Kentucky as well.
I was telling you this pre-pod. I was about to go tee off, and I looked at the board, and I went like, I saw Michigan State, California, and South Carolina, and I put all three of them in a parlay. Would have net me like $500, and I just went, nah. I've been burned one too many times on this. I'll just watch the game and not stress about it.
Yeah.
Dude, they looked good. They looked great, but Kentucky might be bad. But yeah, that's the gritty gambling corner, I guess we could
Yeah,
call it.
Georgia and Kentucky played this weekend.
Yes, bloodbath.
Yeah.
It's a blood.
Winner of the week for me this week. I'll do my winners and losers, and you can go. My winner of the week, dude. You're gonna love this, Baker Mayfield, man. Like we said earlier, I'm a massive fan of Baker. I always have been, and him having success, even though it is on a division rival to the Falcons. But I mean, I'm more of a Jets fan than I am a Falcons fan. So I'm a happy person when Baker Mayfield's playing well.
Yeah.
Dude, I am just because I loved him in college, dude. Great story, just being a walk on man. And dude, I just like Baker. Loser of the week, man. The Atlanta Falcons, absolute just terrible performance. Defense did look pretty good. Granted, Steelers don't have a great offense,
Nope,
but
Justin Fields was quarterbacking that offense too.
but the Falcons just, dude, they're not good. I mean, we talked about it earlier. I'm not going to keep on going about that. Falcons, it's. I think Kirk's the problem right now.
No, I
Just
just think
he's not
Atlanta.
he's not fully healthy.
I just think they're bad. I don't think they made the right decision at
The
head coach.
Falcons are going to Falcon, dude.
Thank God. So I just got to win my division. That's all I care about. Because the lottery tickets, if I win, you and
You're
I
in.
you and I are going to go play Trump National if any of these lottery tickets hit.
Yeah, no kidding.
So my winner of the week is Shannon Sharp, being a healthy, active male. That is my winner of the week. He was also going to be my loser of the week for getting caught being a healthy male, but I'm actually going to pivot. My loser of the week is Shador Sanders. I don't care how bad you think your O line played. I don't care if you're getting your butt torn up. If you pregame said you're going to roll him, be a team player. Don't leave early unless he's hurt. But it
Yeah.
looked like he walked off on his own power. And then you're sitting there bashing your O line in the media. Man, I wouldn't want to protect you if you're just going to sit there and bash
Hell
me.
no.
And man, you didn't look that great either, bro. You didn't make some good throws. It just again, that's what I don't want to go too much in on the Sanders because like
Yeah.
I do
I could go on for hours and hours.
I do like Deion Sanders. I do. I didn't think he was the right fit for FSU. I've always been like a fan. I didn't think his move to Colorado was smart. Still don't think that, and I don't like. Again, I just don't like him calling out his teammates, the O line. So that's my loser of the week. But yeah,
Did you see the video that Will Compton did for Nebraska?
awesome, awesome, dude.
Do you mind if I find that and just kind of play the audio real quick?
I mean, yeah, that's straight. I mean,
Because I've watched this video about 30 times this last week, and one, the ending is awesome, but this shit just gets me fired up. Just not even as a Nebraska fan, but just as a college football fan, this shit gets me fired up. Just for football.
he's just painted up. Oh yeah.
Remember that feeling after Boulder, Colorado last year? It's been 5,034 days since we beat the Buffalo. That is tonight. This year, we write our own script. This year, they're at our house. They brought their cute little Louis bags, and we brought the greatest fans in college football. Tonight, I need to feel you. Black shirts, when they touch the rock, I need to feel you. Offense, through air, lane, sea, I need to feel you. Lock the gates on these boys and just know you got 90,000 recalling back. Go, big.
That was sick. So sick.
somebody's chest. 4 quarters.
The ending, though. Football.
TikTok, motherfuckers.
I absolutely love busting with the boys, man. I love it. I love what
As
they
we were talking live update, 21-14, Texas State. Arizona State just scored. This one's going to come down to the wire, dude. So I'm excited to see how this game wraps up.
just cover. The group of 5 guys. They just tweeted out they should have stayed in San Marcos.
I just
They
saw
have,
that as I was
they
on
have
Twitter too.
They have a great little preview video or whatever, like a recap video of what they saw.
Phenomenal, dude.
Great video, and they killed it, man. They absolutely crushed it, and I'm being so like engulfed in the culture of the G5 now. The way you and I had talked like weekly, daily about it.
Yeah, and then of course you got your allegiance to USF as well, with them being
Yeah.
in Tampa too.
They're in Tampa. My boy plays for them. I've always had like a kind of a soft spot for G5 football, and I still will. Sorry, I got hair in my mouth. I always will have an allegiance to like. I love good football, and the G5 has always produced good football. I love a good upset, and the G5 can always produce a good upset. So, man, I appreciate being able to bridge that between like you and I being able to come from both different backgrounds of it in a way where you grew up going to Georgia Southern games and I grew up going to Florida State games, just building that bridge amongst it, because I feel like there's so many people that are like, well, we don't need the P4 and the G5 together. They need to be separate. No, you and I are in a perfect example of why they work together so well. What makes college football so great. That was my little rant. So
Yeah, and I think the group of 5 guys, they're doing a really good job on social media trying to bridge that gap too. And speaking of the group of 5 guys, we'll go ahead and release this. We've got Jeff Murphy coming on the podcast next week. So I'm pretty fired up for that. I might have to rock that one solo with
yeah,
him.
I'm still figuring out my schedule because I'm gonna be boots on the ground next week against California in Tallahassee. So I got to get.
We tried to do Wednesday, Thursday with him next week. But I think we're going to do Tuesday with the interview, and that'll probably come out either Wednesday or Thursday of next week. But
I'm gonna try and make it. I no
never,
promise.
like, we try to schedule it on when we record, but he's got he's got 3 kids, so the guy's got a family, man.
Yeah,
So,
he's married with children. Josh is married, and I'm single and still in college. So
no children for me. Knock on wood. So
not yet.
Hopefully in the future, man. But
I'm still looking for a girlfriend. Let's just put that out there. If any of the beautiful women of Georgia Southern want to hit my line,
you need a good Georgia Southern grad, man. That's what you need.
I need to be a grad first, and then we'll go from there. But are we on to Mount Rushmore? Is that
Mount Rushmore? Rushmore this week of Heisman Trophy winners in our lifetime. So not of all time. So this has been since Cole was born. I was born in 2000. Cole was born in 1998.
Yes.
So this is Heisman Trophy winners from 1998 to now.
Yes.
That is where we go first.
I'll go first. Let me kick it off.
Okay.
I feel yeah. So I had 2 honorable mentions. I went with RG3 because I absolutely thought he was electric at Baylor. I loved watching him, and I just remember him in that gold and green, the Big 12 offenses, and just he lit it up. So I loved watching him play. And then I went with Lamar Jackson because, man, just when you think of college football highlights, that hurdle against Syracuse. You know how shifty he was and how good he was. He put Louisville on the map when they were in the ACC, and he made them very competitive. Had that shootout game against Clemson and the he who shall not be named via massage parlors. Can't stand that guy. But yeah, number 4, oldest Heisman Trophy winner ever, Chris Winkie, GOAT, legend of the game, won a national championship with my Noles. Number 3, my current NFL quarterback, Baker Mayfield, a walk-on that just kind of was gritty and tough, as we like to say, and worked his way up and just was like he busted his ass. And I mean, that Rose Bowl against Georgia is going to be remembered forever. He even lost it, and that's going to be remembered forever. And I just want to thank the Cleveland Browns for, sending him my way. So thank you. Number 2, Reggie Bush. There's nothing that really needs to be said. Reggie Bush is electric, amazing. And if you think I wasn't going to go homer for this one, it's Jameis Winston in 2013. I absolutely cannot fathom how important that man was to Florida State University and how much I want him to take this Browns team to the playoffs. And I will always and forever be rooting for him. I met him like on a video call through my school one day, and he is still one of the nicest, funniest people you will ever meet. And I will always and forever root for Jameis Winston. So that is my Mount Rushmore.
We have to protect Jameis Winston at all cost. He's a national treasure.
Nissan, if you don't get him in the Heisman house, I'm gonna lose it. Why do we not have Winston in the Heisman house? Why? We have current NFL players in there.
Yeah.
Why can't Jameis Winston be in there?
I just think like having him in like commercials would bring like such a different
he is
honestly like a comedic feel to it. Honestly, you know,
the Heisman house is. You're telling me right now you don't want to have Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, Tim Tebow, and like I don't know, Johnny Manziel. You don't want to have those four in a car together.
yeah.
You know how funny that would be.
Throw Ricky Williams in there too.
Throw Ricky Williams in there. Just throw, bro. Throw one of the old guys in there. Throw Barry Sanders in there. But give me
put in Steve Spurrier. You know.
Oh my dude. If you got me in a blue Nissan and a garnet Nissan, and Steve Spurrier and Tim Tebow are in the blue one, and Jameis Winston and Charlie Ward are in the garnet one, and they have a little drag race type thing with, I don't know. I'm not gonna build you a commercial.
You got Chief Osceola right behind him too with the spear.
Dude, I don't even know. I think it'd be funnier to have like a Miami Hurricane do the flag thing, like Testaverde or something. You know, I don't know. I'm not going to build you a commercial Nissan until you get America's quarterback in there. But that's my 2 cents. I'm sorry, I'm on a little rant, but
no, yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you though, 100%, dude. Because I feel like, dude, Winston just always just brings a good like comedic feel to things. You know what I mean? Even like seeing him on like podcasts and stuff, pregame speeches, like, dude, he's a freaking national treasure. But for me, I've got 2 honorable mentions here. First honorable mention goes to Eric Crouch, quarterback out of Nebraska. He's the only Heisman Trophy winner I've ever met. Quick story on that. On a whitewater raft on the Snake River, and Eric Crouch just so happened to also be on that same whitewater raft as us. So there's a picture somewhere of me. I was 11 or 12 years old with Eric Crouch. So second honorable mention goes out to Johnny Manziel. First freshman to win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, come on. He was electric, dude. Number 4 goes out to Derrick Henry, King Henry. Just the absolute sheer dominance, you know, he had on college football. It was just unreal. Number 3, Reggie Bush. He kind of ties into my number 1 of just like kind of what he did for the game of football, especially looking back on it now with all the NIL stuff as well. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Got to see Joey B, that Heisman Trophy historic year that year. Got to see him play twice. Once against Georgia Southern in Baton Rouge, beat us 55-3 or 53-3, something like that. And got to see him win the national championship and complete the season against Clemson. So got to see him play twice live in person. Number 1 goes out to Ricky Williams, kind of like just with Reggie Bush, of how Ricky Williams just kind of looked at the recovery of football and honestly just really didn't give a shit. And, you know, we will never see somebody trading the entire draft to get one player.
That's insanity. Did that work out for either? Like, I don't remember. It was the Vikings, I think, that trade went to.
I think the Saints were involved.
No, it's Ditka traded his picks to whoever was, I believe, the number 1 pick, and I believe that was the Vikings.
No, because the Vikings were part of the historic Herschel Walker trade.
I think that's what I'm getting confused with. I'm just going to Google Ricky Williams trade. By the way, Tyler Bass just kicked a field goal. 10-7, Bills.
Go. Let's go, T-Bass. He went to the Saints.
Yes, he did. Ditka was the coach. Ditka was the I remember that. He was the coach of the Saints at the time, and he wanted him so bad. So the Ricky Williams trade was
Was it what? It was the Redskins.
Yes.
Sorry. That was insensitive of me. The Commanders.
No, I think it's okay. I think people got any vintage you go like find, it's gonna be of that. The Let me see here. This is crazy. The Saints, blah, 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 with the teams holding the Saints offered 9 draft picks to the Bengals for the third overall choice. Didn't take it. The Saints traded their first, third, and fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh round picks in the 1999 draft and their first round and third round picks from the 2000 NFL draft to the Washington Redskins for the fifth overall pick.
That's unreal, dude.
And the
Absolutely
Redskins
unreal.
traded the 12th overall pick, the third round pick acquired from the Saints, and their fourth and fifth round picks to the Bears to acquire the seventh overall pick. And the Redskins used that pick to select Champ Bailey.
Ooh.
Yep. I'm just reading it. And then
What was that, the 1999 NFL draft?
Yes, it was. And
The Saints only had a one selection. It's crazy. Saints only selection that draft was Ricky Williams.
that's insanity. And then
Tim Couch went number 1 overall to the Browns. Donovan McNabb, Dante Culpepper was in that draft. So, dude, a lot of big names. I mean, Champ Bailey, Donald Driver was in that draft. So here, I'll give you some in the first round here. Tim Couch went 1, McNabb 2, Akalai Smith went 3 to the Bengals, quarterback out of Oregon. Ed Sheeran James went 4.
wow.
So yeah. Then Ricky Williams, Torrey Holt went to the Rams. Greatest show on turf right there. Trent Haley went 7.
It's crazy how one trade can just affect like all the way down the line, like all the way down. It's just like for years. That's a type of trade that will affect teams for like the league for years.
For you Georgia fans, Matt Stinchcomb went number 18 to the Raiders.
We keep it a buck with you, brother. I have no idea who Matt Stinchcomb is.
It's one of the best offensive tackles in Georgia history.
Well, I'm still not the biggest fan of the University of Georgia after what they did to me last fall season. I do have my travel announcements. Actually, I have a couple travel announcements if anyone's interested. I just want to add in. I will be going to my first ever game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Josh.
Yeah, you going to that Falcons Bucks game. Yeah.
I'm not going to ruin my fit, but I've got a very awesome fit in mind for that game, and that's just something I mean, dude, I haven't been to an NFL game, which is really funny because when Tom Brady was here, the tickets were outrageous. I haven't been to an NFL game since like freshman or sophomore year of high school, so it's been a long time for me because it's so hot, dude.
My last NFL game was my senior year of high school. We went up to the Jets-Pats game, and Patriots won in overtime. Brady touchdown pass to Gronk in OT. So funny, I'm looking at this 99 draft. Third round, 79th overall pick, Dan Campbell to the New York Giants.
Wow. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm just kind of see if we see some like late round guys
that they missed on.
Just names that stand out. I mean, nobody's really kind of standing out to me, honestly.
No, I mean, there's a decent amount though.
There was a punter by the Packers in the 4th round.
Who was in the 6th round?
I'm starting the 5th right now, so sorry.
I'm trying to think, is this the draft that the GOAT, or was that the 2000 draft?
Who are you thinking of?
Tom Brady went in the 6th round of one of those drafts. I want to say it was the 6th. I'm not 100% sure. We probably should have done a little more research prior to the pod.
There's really, like, for you people out there that are listening or watching, there's not a whole lot of research that goes into these podcasts, honestly.
No, we kind of just do it by the seat of our
Donald Driver was in the 7th round that year.
His son just scored a touchdown in last week, I think, for Louisiana Monroe.
Yes. I'm pretty sure you are correct.
I feel so old, man. When I saw that, I felt so old, dude. So,
man. But yeah, that's really kind of all the names that stand out to me. But dude, great pod this week.
Fantastic.
Stay tuned for this Ryan Fitzgerald interview.
Yes.
They're coming up following this episode. So
I
yeah, hopefully everything will be posted on Spotify and Apple as well. So
just make sure you like, subscribe. Check out the Twitter. Water at WHD podcast, I
Yeah.
believe is the handle.
Yes.
Check out our own personals. We be tweeting all the time at each other, having a good time interacting. Follow up on all of our socials. Follow up on all the Water Hose Drinker socials. We're gonna be a little bit more active now that both NFL and college football are in full swing. I know his trips to Georgia Southern. I got trips planned for Florida State games and stuff. So make sure you keep following us on that. And there's just one more thing I gotta say, Josh, is keep drinking that water, baby. Keep drinking that
water, baby.
Oh yeah, this is my last little bit. I gotta re-up. I'm gonna need you to send me some more, brother.
That's the only thing that's acceptable besides hose water. So gotta love it. But yeah. Oh, great pod. Great episode 38. We're getting up there in numbers. So
yeah, just keep building and moving and grooving, man. So hey, go Noles. Go for the win column, baby. Come on.
Let's get some wins this weekend.
Please.
All right. See you.
See you, brother. Welcome back. We got a special one today here on the Water Hose Drinkers. We're sitting here with the kicker for Florida State University, Ryan Fitzgerald. What's up, Ryan? How you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing great. It's good to see you. Good to see you. Obviously, Cole, Josh, sitting here on a beautiful Sunday morning. NFL Sunday is about to kick off. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to be here. Josh, how you feeling today?
Dude, I feel good. It's been a interesting morning. Last night, we had a couple victories. So Colorado went down just to really put an icing on the cake for the night for me, honestly. But Ryan, man, we really appreciate you coming on the podcast, dude. And, I knew who you were, coming from Colquitt County at Florida State. So it's I know Cole's excited, our first FSU guest on the podcast. So we got to love it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I've been repping the Noles hard for this, showing the Southern faithful that listen here on this beautiful podcast about, Florida State, a little P5 ball. And yeah, man, we all see it, brother. We all see you making the highlights. We all see the kicks. You've been doing it for a couple of years now at Florida State. You've been the go-to guy. I like to start out with that big one to start the season, that big 59-yarder, man.
Yeah,
dude, that was massive. It was a massive kick, man.
Was that your career long in a game?
Yeah, it was. My career long going into that was 53 a few years back. And then the one right before that was 52, and that was my first kick of the season. No extra points before that. First kick of the season was 52, and I was like, all right, and banged it through, and then right before half, 59.
I do have a question. So you said no extra points. Was that going for two always like in the cards? Or was that like a game time decision kind of thing?
It was something we worked on through camp, and we always have some plays like that. I think Miami ran that exact same play yesterday, I think. So each team has something like that in the playbook.
Well, cool. I saw Army had, I think their holder, it was a design pass and he ended up taking off, but we need to get a good, holder, little kicker flip, you take off for, 6 points or even a 2-point conversion. I mean, come on now. You need to get something rolling.
A little Mad Hatter, Les Miles and flick it over the head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like for me, like kicker passing touchdowns or like kicker touchdowns, or it kind of almost beats the big boy touchdown for me, honestly.
Dude, I love it.
Pretty cool to watch.
Have you had a passing touchdown or a touchdown in college yet?
I have not. Still waiting for that opportunity.
It's coming. It's coming this season.
High school?
No, not at any level. I don't recall one. No.
So growing up in Colquitt County were you just solely kicker, or did you play any other positions in high school?
I punted.
Okay.
No other position on offense or defense. No.
So I assume you're probably like most kickers. You got a big soccer background as well.
Yeah, yeah. My dad kicked in high school too, so I kind of always wanted to be a kicker, and so I think I was like 7 or 8 when I started kicking, and I didn't play like actual football until I think 8th grade. That's when they finally had like a snapper and holder, so I could do it. So
Yeah. I
Dude,
was I was a holder in high school, so I was pretty damn good at it, if I will say. So if you ever need somebody, Cole can snap. I can hold for you if you just want to get some reps in. Know who to call.
I
yeah,
got you.
I can't snap. I snapped like I was saying before. I snapped a beer to him and Koo would have
Young
nailed it.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah,
But
heck
yeah,
yeah.
so going back to your longest prior to that, I've known that you've always got the leg like that, but now put it into a game decision, like or a game time, feel like adding that much yardage. You can go further. So like I mean that 59er would have been good for I believe like 60, 62. Like it looked
Mm.
good. So how far like would you say you think right now put you in like what do you think your range is at? Because I know your confidence is like when you hit a 59 yarder, man, to start like that's through the roof. Like how far back do you think you can, nail that rock?
It depends on the situation. I think when you throw in the game time adrenaline and all of that stuff, the conditions have to be right too. The wind can't be in my face, and it can't be too cold out. The ball's got to travel a little bit further, in the warmer weather. I mean, in Dublin it was kind of chillier, but I think right now, yeah, about 60. On a good day, yeah.
I love it.
What's the furthest you've hit in practice?
With snap hold, I think the furthest I've hit is 61. I think I hit 61 like last week. And then just off like sticks, not with snap hold, just out on my own, I've hit 65, 66, I think maybe. It was on a windy day, obviously, but
Hey, it
Hey,
don't matter as long as it
don't
goes through
matter.
the uprights,
oh
man.
yeah, oh yeah.
It
So
don't matter.
So yeah, man. How I want to ask. I know you're a big avid golfer. How do you transition that into the position that you play in kicker? I feel like there's a lot of similarities between golf and specifically the kicker position on the field. So being such like an avid golfer and setup, timing, ball striking, all that stuff. How do you transition that to the kicking game and then back from kicking to your golf game? Like how do you make those intertwined? Do you think?
I think the only thing that really can translate over is the mental side of it. If you hit a bad shot, then you have to go hit another shot and make it better. Or if you hit a great shot, you still have to make the putt, make the next shot count. I think it's also really different because the ball's stationary. Nobody's snapping the ball to you. It's just you and the ball. It's not a snap. It's not a hold. It's not an offensive line blocking it. You don't have a D line trying to block it. All that stuff too. So it's different. Um, but yeah, I think the mental side of it is pretty similar. I'm friends with a couple boys on the golf team, and just hearing their perspective on the mental side of things, it is pretty similar.
What's your handicap like these days?
It's a 10 right now. The lowest I've got
Okay.
it down to is like a 7, but
Okay.
I had to get it up a little higher than that. I wasn't comfortable with the 7.
This summer I got mine down to about a 13 and a half, but I'm not playing like that right now at all. I've done a little too much drinking the last couple of times I've played golf. It's not much
I
going
just bring the beer, guys. I just bring the beer. I bring the
on.
speaker. I went out yesterday and I had some like the ESPN games on the speaker, and I'm sitting there. I mean, I shoot in the 90s, but I'm there for the vibes.
Yeah,
But yeah,
you bring the
Hey,
vibes.
look, 90s, people don't realize 90s is not bad. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
really
really
not
not.
bad at all.
yeah, it is until you go out and play with your buddies that are like, yeah, I shot a 77 at
Yeah.
Mhm.
Copperhead. My buddy, yeah, my buddy Taylor, he's caddy in Stream Song, and he's like, yeah, dude, I played bad. I shot 77. I was like, at Copperhead, you shot a 77, and that's bad for
It,
you. I was like, come on, bro, what are we doing
I,
here?
I was playing golf. I lived with three golfers my freshman year of college at Georgia Southern, and Cole, you met Wilson last weekend, and we were playing golf one day, and he ends up shooting 5 under, and then he misses the eagle putt on 18, and he was like, damn, like I'm so mad. I was like, dude, you just shot 5 under, like was like, man, I just broke 90 and I'm ecstatic right now. Like, come
Mhm.
on, dude. But
You
no,
go.
I do like how you're a golfer, honestly, just because like I'm become somewhat friends with Young Wei Koo and Tyler Bass over the last, several years, just them going to Georgia Southern. And I mean, they're big golfers too. Is that just like it's like, how MLB pitchers, they tend to be good golfers too. Is that something like just for college and pro kickers, even y'all just like playing golf or what is it?
I think it's just the competitiveness. I mean, even Steph Curry, he's out there on the course throwing darts. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's just athletes in general, having a side sport, side hobby where you can still compete with yourself. I think that's what brings that competitive edge on the field is you have it in other parts of your life too, where that competitiveness just shows up.
Is that like something that, as a team at Florida State, y'all like to do is just you got a group that goes out there to play golf or, what are like some of the team hobbies, outside of football?
Yeah, we love to hang out, whether it's going to golf or some of the boys would go fish or just hang out, play the game, It's we always try to hang out when we can outside of the facility.
Yeah, I think later I got to get on a new video game and do a little, kick or flip pass and take off for six. Just to, get a good mentality of, you scoring a touchdown. So,
I'd like to see that. Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
so knowing that you're in your last year there at Florida State, obviously looking forward, the goal is to move on to the league and stuff. Like, how are you before the season started, like mentally preparing yourself? You're like, man, this is it. I'm going into my last year. Got to really make it count and stuff. So like, what's the mentality week in and week out? It's like, I'm. You started off great, just personal accolades, like you banging 50, 52 yarder, then a 59 yarder. So like, we build off that momentum. How are you personally building off that momentum to, push you through the rest of the season and then, hopefully to the next chapter, which would be the NFL, which I pray to God is my Bucks. I'd love to have you in Tampa. So, it'd be great.
No, I think Coach Norvell does a good job with all of us seniors. Going in this year and every year, he always tells the seniors, just be you. I think everyone has, especially seniors, has a picture in their mind of what they want it to look like, and I think he just did a good job of reminding me, just to not be discouraged if necessarily one play doesn't go our way and doesn't look like what we wanted it to or expected it to. Just go out and just be you. Just trust your process, your training, and go out and be confident. So I think I did a really good job of not getting too emotional, too high. I guess after that moment in Ireland, and just taking it week by week, just game by game, kick by kick, and really just trying to go out and be confident and just know that I've trained for this. Just trust my process and just keep doing what I'm doing, just banging kicks through.
I love it. I
and
love it.
what's your mentality, like, how do you prepare just going into a game? And do you have any like pregame rituals you like to do? You got to hit it from this hash and this side of the hash on a certain yard line before you kind of like, what's your routine like on game day?
I think the first thing I do when I get on the field, get stretched and everything, I just go through just different spots on the field and not even with a ball, just do my swing without a ball, just on different spots, just the visualization of it and really just going ahead and making kicks in my mind before I even put my foot on a ball. I think that's really helps me personally in my pregame tradition or ritual, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, we on here we've interviewed like some players like Tyler Fromm, before, and we emphasize manifestation. So I like to hear that
Mhm.
from you. Just like you're sitting there, you get to go to all these stadiums and stuff, and you're kicking in Doak, and then you're kicking at different stadiums, and then hell, you got to kick in Ireland, and you still just go out on the field, stretch, and you just visualize. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna make that kick, and that's what I love. And again, that's what I love. What you said, you like growing up, like growing in the game, not letting one bad hit dictate the next hit and stuff like that. So I just love that for you and just love that approach to it because manifestation is so important, I think, in sports, because if you can envision yourself succeeding, you're going to succeed. So that's what I like to hear, my man. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
We were talking to Youngwei Koo, the kicker for the Falcons, a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about just like, let's say he had a really good game the week before, hit a 50-yarder, whatever, was perfect, all that stuff. He said sometimes almost when he's going out there prepare for the next game, he'll just start doing something different just for the hell of it. Like, is that something that, just in pregame is what I mean? And like, is that, just, do you like to change things up in pregame, or is it just kind of like a set routine every single time you go out there?
I think in pregame it's probably usually a set routine. I mean, I don't change that. I'm not a person that, oh, it has to exactly be like this every single time, because in reality it's not. You're gonna have weather delays some games, might not even get to warm up. I've had that in the past. That's part of it. Like, you can't depend on a routine per se in any way. But that's just what gets me going. That's what gets me locked in and stuff. So
Awesome.
What ultimately led you to decide on Florida State? Coming from high school, what was the kind almost the deciding factor on Florida State for you?
I think the proximity to home, really. I mean, it's like that recruiting pitch in the game, but just an hour away, from my hometown up in South Georgia, and just the tradition, the rich history of kickers that have come before me. I mean, you just look at the guys that I think just 3-4 years ago we had like 4 or 5 kickers in the league, and I think, and those guys, I've been able to build a close relationship with a lot of those guys, and that's been really cool too. And really just the tradition of the program, and Coach Bowden and all the players and coaches that have been here before. It's just so rich in tradition.
Well, I think that, I think you've solidified yourself into the line of great kickers that come through Florida State. Hopkins, the Aguayos, Janikowski, I think for years to come, people are going to talk about, Ryan Fitzgerald's time at FSU. And I think you've made a really great impact on the university. I mean, you and I are friends, and I mean that before I met you and then after meeting you. Another question: your favorite memory at FSU so far, besides, you and me hanging out in your apartment doing snaps after a night out or something, obviously meeting me is a good time, but
Mm.
favorite memory at FSU so far.
I think like football or off the field or either or.
We can take both.
Anything.
I'll take both. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in football, really just last season, just winning the ACC, and it's something that we've talked about for 5 years leading up to this point. With, I think there's only 3 of us left now for my true freshman year, but me and all those guys, and there was like 7 or 8 of us left over from last year that were still here last year, and be able to accomplish that is something we talked about since freshman year, and so that was really special. And I think off the field, just like the people, the connections and stuff you meet, I think in my master's program, I'm doing a master's in accounting, and just made some really good friends through that. And yeah, meeting friends off the field, like this guy right here. So yeah, it's all been fun. It's sad that I only have 4 months left, but it's been an unbelievable time, unbelievable journey.
Yeah.
Were you and DJ Lundy in the same recruiting class?
No, he was a year below me. Yeah, he was in
Gotcha.
2020.
Gotcha. I just got some friends from Irwin County, and I
Mhm.
watched him play multiple times in high school. And honestly, like, the reason why I've always rooted for Florida State, not because of Cole, but I'm just messing with you. But it's really just because of DJ Lundy, just because, just having friends from there and watching that kid play. I mean, he's a freak, honestly.
Yeah, state champion wrestler too. My long snapper is a state champion wrestler in the state of Florida too. We have some wrestling guys on the team that were absolutely beasts in high school.
I got
Like,
it.
people don't think about it though. It's like some of these guys that have a wrestling background, like they know like hand placement and like the ability to get leverage on a defender, or an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow it up just probably like a few more questions because I know you gotta head to the facility here soon. Real quick, you versus Mastro wrestling match. I want to know who's tapping out who, because I know you got a close relationship with our Aussie punter. But since we're on the talks of wrestling, you versus the Aussie.
Oh man, I don't know. He has some tricks up his bag. He's done he has a couple friends that are pro fighters from Australia and that kind of stuff. I don't know if I wouldn't be too confident if I said myself. We've had some matches in the past just screwing around, but and I put up a good fight. But nah, he's also what 240. If he sees this, he'll be pissed at me for talking about his weight. But he's 240. I mean, he's built like a kangaroo. So I mean, he's
Oh man, I love that. I love that. You guys are both definitely on the watch list for those the Groza and the Ray guy. So I think that you guys, I mean, y'all are gonna win it. I'm Cole. I'm a big Florida State fan. I can't wait to see y'all with that hardware. I'm just gonna go out and say it.
Look. My biases towards Florida State are Cole, DJ Lundy, and I don't even know DJ. I just seen him play in high school. And my great aunt used to teach at Florida State, so she was once a Seminole too. So you're going to be the first guy on this that has came. We're fortunate enough to have you on the podcast, but you're going to be the first guy that's come on our podcast to be an award winner. And I mean, we're talking about manifestation. We've talked about manifestation with, some of the players that we've talked to in the past. So I'm manifesting, that Lou Groza award coming home to Tallahassee.
No, I appreciate it. I think me and Alex, the way we view all that stuff, it's awesome. And I think that's, we just focus on day to day, one day at a time, one rep at a time, one kick. And, if that comes down the road, that's great, but we're focused on our process today. And as long as we're focused on that, all that stuff will come. And I think it's pretty crazy, last year, before last season, the season I had, I didn't write down any goals. Obviously I had some subconsciously, the goals I wanted to try to get to and stuff, but I think I was just so process driven day to day, just focused on how I can get better each and every day and just keep stacking those chips day after day.
I got one more question, then I'll let you get out of here. You're in game week, game prep. Just moving forward. Let's look out to the rest of the season, my man. Like, how you feeling just moving forward? You got Memphis coming into town, and then I believe I'll be up there for the Cal game, and then just moving forward. Like I said, so like just looking out for the rest of the season. I know you're day to day, but just like you said, the team's a family. Mike is a great leader. We hear it in this press conference all the time. So just take us through game week. You're coming off the bye and stuff. So just moving out for the rest of the season outlook, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's just day to day, trying to get better, maximize being our best today and getting better while being our best. And, that's our standard. That's our expectation, our identity is, trying to get better while being our best each and every day. And, one game at a time. We got Memphis this week and, just really trying to just keep getting better. And this team works unbelievably hard. And so we're just going to go out today. We have practice today, going to go out and try to get better.
I got one more for you, and we'll let you get out of here. If there was one thing you could tell yourself in high school being recruited or even a current recruit right now, what would it be?
Enjoy it. Have fun. Enjoy it. Enjoy the process of it. All the highs and lows of it. You can be emotional if you let it, but just enjoy it. Enjoy the heck out of it. Enjoy the praises. Enjoy the disappointments, the shortcomings. It's all part of it, and it's just a really fun process.
Well, thank you, Ryan. I hope, one day we could finally meet in person and maybe potentially do a podcast in person after your first round draft pick and Lou Groza award winner. So,
hey, we can set up some South Georgia golf. I mean, I'll drive for that, baby. You guys know.
Man, I'm not that far away. I'm only in Perry, so I'm not that far away from Colquitt County at all, man.
Oh yeah, let's set something up.
Love it. Thanks again, Ryan, and good luck the rest of the year. I can't wait to see you. Like I said, I'm coming up in 2 weeks and stuff, man. So I'll definitely hit you up. But like I said, brother, thank you so much for doing this. And as always, baby, go Noles. Let's get it,
go
brother.
Noles.
Get it. Yes, hey, sir. Good luck the rest of the year. Go Noles, and let's make some kicks, man. Good luck.
Let's do it. Yeah. Thanks again, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
See you, brother.